Hello, everybody. Have another story for you today. This story was requested on our Facebook page by one of our young viewers. So this story is specially for Cameron. This is the story of the three billy goats gruff, and it comes from Scandinavia, which is Norway and Sweden and Finland and Denmark, up in that area. Once upon a time, there were three brothers. Now, these brothers just happened to be billy goats. Now, billy goats up in Scandinavia, if you don't know, up there when it's winter, there's a lot of snow on the ground. And so the goats can't go out and eat the juicy, sweet grass that grows because they can't find it because it's buried under all the snow. So during the winter, the billy goats come in and they live in the shed. And they eat hay. And hay is tasty. But hay is not as tasty as sweet mountain grass. It's so juicy and tender and delicious. Well, when our story happens, the three billy goats gruff had just gotten out of the shed. It was spring and the mountain meadows were finally open and they could go up to the mountain meadows. So they were so excited. So they started trip-tropping up the hill to the mountain meadow. Well, the biggest billy goat, he spotted some tasty thistles and he really liked thistles. So he decided he was going to eat the thistles quick and then he would follow his brothers up to the mountain meadow. Well, the two younger brothers kept trip-tropping along, and pretty soon the middle brother, he spotted some tasty mountain spring flowers, and he really liked those spring flowers. They're very tasty. So he decided he was going to stay and eat those up real quick, and then he would follow his baby brother up to the top of the mountain. Well, the littlest billy goat, his favorite thing in the whole wide world was the brand new, super juicy, super sweet spring grass in the highest mountain meadow. So he wanted to go up there. And he knew that it was pretty safe to go up there by himself because he was, after all, a billy goat. And he was pretty big, but not as big as his big brothers. And he had some horns, but they were kind of small horns. They weren't as big as his big brothers yet, but they would get bigger. And he knew that his brothers would be right behind him, so if anything happened, his brothers could take care of him. Well, he decided he was just going to keep on going up to that high mountain meadow, just trip-tropping along. But you see, between him and the high mountain meadow, there was a bridge because there was a big river, and the river had a big waterfall on it, and the only way to get safely across was to go across that little wooden bridge. Well, what the Billy Goat brothers didn't know is that a troll had moved in under that bridge right at the end of the grass season last year, and so they hadn't seen him before. But when the littlest billy goat went trip-tropping up to the bridge, and he started trip-tropping across the bridge, trip-trop, 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 suddenly he heard a really mean, really angry voice. And it was the troll, and he was not happy because trolls, you see, mostly go out at nighttime. And somebody was trip-tropping across his roof and waking him up. And he was very hungry because there hadn't been a whole lot to eat all winter. And he was very grouchy because he had been up all night and now somebody was going across his roof. And so he said, "Who's that trip-tropping over my bridge?" Well, the littlest billy goat was very surprised. He said, "Well, it's just me, the littlest billy goat. I'm going to the meadow to eat grass. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bother you." And the troll said, "Oh ho, a billy goat." Guess what the troll's favorite thing was to eat? Yep, goat. A billy goat? Ha! My favorite breakfast. I'm going to eat you up from your hoof to your horns. And the little billy goat thought, I don't want to be eaten up. I don't want to be eaten up. You don't want to eat me up, Mr. Troll. You don't. I'm very little, and I will barely be a mouthful for you. And well, my brothers are coming, and can I please just go to the meadow and eat the sweet grass? And maybe my brothers, they're bigger than me, so maybe they would be more tasty. He didn't really want the troll to eat his brothers, but he figured his brothers were bigger. They could probably take care of the troll. And the troll thought about that for a minute. Yeah, okay. If your brothers are coming and they're bigger than you, you go on ahead. You don't look like you'd be more than a mouthful. Go on ahead. And so the littlest billy goat, he hurried across the bridge, trippity-trop, 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 and he went into the meadow and he started eating the really sweet, really juicy, brand new spring grass. Well, a little while later, the middle billy goat, he finished eating his fresh mountain flowers, and he came along the road, trip-trop, 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 and he started across that bridge, trip-trop, trip-trop, and all of a sudden he heard, "Who's that trip-tropping over my bridge?" You see, the troll had just started to fall asleep again, and somebody woke him up. And now he was even more hungry. And middle billy goes, "Well, it's just me, the middle billy goat, and I'm going over to the meadow to eat the sweet spring grass with my baby brother. He probably came by here a minute ago. I need to go check on him. I'm sorry, didn't mean to wake you." And the troll said, "Oh ho! You're the big brother who is coming. I'm going to eat you up from your horns to your hooves." And the middle brother said, well, I really would rather you didn't. I need to go check on my brother and make sure that he's okay. He is rather little. He thinks he's very big, but he is still rather little. Our older brother's coming. He's much bigger than I am, and I would barely be 2 mouthfuls. You'd much rather eat him. I'm sure you would. He didn't want his big brother to get eaten either, but he figured his big brother could take care of that troll. And the troll thought about it for a minute. "All right, you're right. You would barely be 2 mouthfuls. Go on, check on your brother." And so the middle billy goat, he trip-tropped off that bridge as fast as he could. Trippity-trop, trippity-trop, trippity-trop. And he went up into the high mountain meadow, and he found his baby brother munching on that sweet, juicy spring mountain grass. And he just joined in. Well, after a little while, the biggest billy goat, he finished eating his thistles. And he figured he'd probably better go check on his brothers, because, they weren't quite as big as they thought they were. And they might need some help and some protection. Just, he had much bigger horns. His horns were big and curly already, and he had much bigger horns, and he was a much bigger goat, even though he was kind of thin from eating hay all winter. So he went trip-tropping up the road, and he passed where his middle brother had been eating the flowers, and he could see that his brother had eaten the flowers. Not a surprise. Trip-trop, 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 and pretty soon he got to the bridge. Well, as he started trip-trop, 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 trip-trop across the bridge, suddenly he heard a very angry voice. You guessed it, he woke up the troll again. "Who's that trip-tropping over my bridge?" "Just me, the biggest billy goat. And I'm gonna go check on my brothers. Sorry to have woken you. I'll be on my way." And the troll said, "Oh, no, wait, you don't. You I've been waiting for. I love goat, and I am going to eat you up from your hooves all the way down to your horns. All the way up to your... Whatever! I'm going to eat you all up." And the biggest billy goat, he said, I don't think so. I don't like that idea. I need to go check on my brothers. You're not going to eat me up. And the troll said, oh, yes, I am. And the biggest billy goat, he said, on my head are 2 sharp spears, and with them I'll make you cry salty tears. And on my head are 2 big stones, and I'll thump you hard and smash your bones. Well, that troll, he didn't care about rhymes and little things like that. No. He jumped right up on that bridge, and he came running right at that billy goat. He was gonna eat him up from his hooves to his horns. Well, have you ever seen billy goats have big old horns on their heads? For fun, they butt each other in the heads. So the biggest billy goat, he took one look at that troll coming at him, and he lowered his head, and he started running across the bridge, and he hit that troll with his head and his horns, and he flipped him up in the air. In fact, he flipped him up so high that he went over the sun and over the moon, and he came back down. But you know what? When he came back down, he missed the bridge. He didn't land on the bridge. He fell all the way down to the bottom of the waterfall. And that was the end of the troll. And to the biggest billy goat, he just said, humph. And he just kept on going, trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap, trip, trap, all the way up to the high mountain meadow, where he found his brothers eating the sweet, juicy, spring mountain grass. And they all had the best meal that day, and every day they were able to go up to the meadows, and they didn't have to worry about the troll ever again. The end. And that is the story of the 3 billy goats gruff. I hope you enjoyed it, Cameron. I hope everybody else enjoyed it, and we will see you next time on Friday. Yes, Friday at 3 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Here on the Milledgeville Public Library of Illinois Facebook page, we'll have another story for you. We hope to see you then. Bye!